Okay, so we've got a couple of players that want to just get a sort of guide on how to go about building their keeps. um, just make sure I'm in all the rallies. Good. Yeah, so basically, the general sort of convention that we are trying to implement here is defensive keeps or are defensive keeps. And if you currently look at my layout or sort of skin that I'm on, you can see that I'm a Russian keep. Fundamentally, Russian keeps provide in-city troop attack. If you're not sure about what buffs the cultures provide, you can go into your subordinate city. If you go here, let's just take Epic. You'll see that the European provides sort of architecture, or sorry, it's called architecture, and provides construction speed and general XP from monster killing. So if you're doing a lot of monster killing and you want to use that as a means of leveling up your generals, which I wouldn't advise. If you want to do, you can do that, but we only tend to use European when we want to upgrade our keeps, when we're upgrading large amounts of buildings um, to get this buff. That's also why we load up on European subs. We ask alliance members to borrow subs, and then those that have European subs, because all these buffs they'll stack up, right? China we generally use for troop training. So you'll see that it provides a troop training buff. And if you kind of offline a lot and you're not really playing much, you can use it for the production buff as well. Japan is fundamentally used for troop attack. When you are attacking offensively troops that are outside of your city, basically marching. There's the second one, which helps with material production. Not really big fan of that buff there. Korean, usually used on farms because it provides this resource bonus when you gather. But I'm just going to skip through and go all the way to Russia because it provides an in-city troop attack, which means troops that are inside of your city, they'll gain that buff. Okay, and you'll see that what am I doing? Where am I? Oh, over there. You'll see that I use a lot of Russian subs. There's a couple of Japans in there. I'm planning on changing them out, especially these blue ones first, because I am building myself up as a defensive keep. So, from the culture, what a lot of people need to realize is that you cannot be a defensive keep in the current sort of landscape of the game. There's certain things that you have to put into place that, in my view, it's a must-have. It's without that you won't survive long. So everyone knows, or at least everyone that I think should know this. You should have a large amount of T1 troops. So I'm still in the process of doing this, but the formula that I'm using is for every 1 billion of power, I want to have 100 million T1 calves, because I'm building myself up as a T1 calf trap. Well, that's where I started. I'm currently not a trap anymore. So a T1 trap is essentially a player that has very low layers. So you go all the way to the top and you'll have like, I don't know, 250,000 layers here with a high, maybe 1.1 to 1.5 million T13 ground, and the same goes for the archers. And then you go again 250. Oopla, I don't want to dismiss anything. 250,000 troops going down again. Some would just stick to 100,000. Doesn't really matter as long as it's at least 100,000. And then you max out like as much as you can on the cav. So usually players will start off at 200 million. 100 million is sort of the starting point, where for young servers, for young players that are starting out, 100 million is sort of a good place to start. But as you grow, you're going to have to increase that, especially with rallies coming at you. T1 traps are known for their defense against solos, but against rallies they are pretty worthless, useless essentially. So once you get your troop building sort of plan in place, ensure obviously that you've got your academy. Where's my academy? Over there. Your research, so you want to make sure that your military tab is completed, your defensive tab is completed, the military advanced tab should be completed, your defense advanced tab should be completed as far as possible depending on your keep level. And then I think that should be wait, here we go. This is all something that I'm working on. Is it this one? Nope. This one. In city, each subordinate city increases the troop attack when defending the main city plus 3%, right? So that's if you max it out. So every subordinate city that you own will increase your in-city troop attack with 3%. So if you own 9 subs, that's 27% right there. That's just attack. And then you've got the same over here, another 27% over there if you've got 9 subs. And then the same goes for HP as well as defense. I think that's all. Yeah, the others are about troop survival, material production. Wait a second, here's some more. There's some defense again, the same for HP, and then attack again. That should be it. Yeah, that's it. So you definitely want to make sure that you max that out. And then we go to the defense generals. So here you want to make sure that you've got a general. If you're going to start off as a T1 trap, that's going to buff up specifically the troop type or the trap type that you're going for. So I'm going to utilize the easiest one, which is the calves. And in my opinion, and please correct me if I'm wrong, let's say defense. I haven't found anyone better for a T1 calf trap than using Burika as your main, because she provides fundamentally calf buffs over here. As you can see, I'm looking at HP as well as attack, and then the same goes for her specialties. You can have a look over there. And then if you're going to red star her from the first red star all the way down to the 5th, with the exception of the second red star, everything else is geared towards cav buffs, all around cav buffs. Now as her assistant, again, feel free to correct me if you feel that what I'm saying is incorrect. Where is this guy? Should then be here? No. Oh wait, he's not defense. He is offense. Now I need to find China, Japan, then Lino Mosa. He provides the highest HP buff to calves, and obviously we want this debuff as well. If you look at all the buffs, so if you add them up, he's got 40% off the bat, and then we add in 10, 20 plus 35, so that's 55. So now we're at 95. Oops, we've got a little bit of a beta mode going on here. Let's claim that. I've been waiting for this. It's another thing I do. If I purchase anything, I just wait for the pack, purchase pack that provides me with the resources that I need. If it's going to be resources, well, it hasn't been resource in a long time. I've only been waiting for speeds. So usually when these things come up, you can cancel them if you don't want them, and you can wait every hour, every few hours. I think it will refresh until it gets to the one that you want, and I've been waiting for the speeds, and so that's the one that I'm accepting right now. So we're at 95, and then we look at his red stars. Well, they wouldn't count as an assistant, but hypothetically speaking, if he was a main, that would be an extra 20 over there on the first one. And the fourth one would be 30, so that's 50. And then the last one doesn't have any. Okay, but it's a decent mod size there, huh? 6 and 8, so it could even be used as a PvP gen. Nonetheless, we'll be dealing with 95% HP without red stars. That's extremely high for an assistant gen. Then, once you have your gens in place, you're going to add on gear. And if we go over to the forge over here, we go to craft. Let's click on the set tab. So starting out, players will generally either have the ability to craft dragon pieces, which they will obviously upgrade to Ares pieces, and then when they get to keep level 33, they can unlock the ability to craft Achaemenid gear. So let's compare the two sets. The weapon, let's go with that first. So you've got various options here. The sword, you've got the bow, you've got the axe, you've got the spear. So if you're going to build yourself up as a cav T1 trap, you want to buff your calves. And by now you should know that the spear is the best one that buffs calves, or the best weapon that buffs calves. So let's first compare that. So we've got mounted attack plus 30%, and marching mounted troop HP plus 10%, marching mounted troop defense plus 10%. So those two buffs are useless for a defensive player, because we're not buffing marching troops, we're buffing defensive troops. That's what we want. So the first buff there, there we go, mounted troop attack plus 30%, that one would count. March speed to monsters, well, that wouldn't count. Let's just see if there are any other cav buffs. The axe provides none, the bow provides none, and the sword also provides. Oh wait, oh no, that's enemy mounted HP. The sword also provides none. Let's have a look at the Achaemenid gear. We've got the sword over there, not doing really anything for our T1 cav trap, excluding in-city ground troop defense. No, that's not important. The bow, in-city range troop defense, not important. Axe is mainly siege based. Here we go. So here we're having mounted troop attack, and we're debuffing the enemy 2 times. So we're getting ground troop defense debuffs and enemy ground troop HP debuffs. So when you compare this spear to the spear over here, it performs much better. However, when you are being attacked, you need to understand what are you being attacked with. Now, smaller players generally get attacked with archers. Alright, so if you're going to get attacked with archers, you're most likely going to be soloed. Alternatively, you'll be attacked with ground, especially from bigger players. So when we compare them, firstly, the spear provides you only with mounted troop attack plus 30% and nothing else, whereas the Achaemenid spear provides you with mounted troop attack as well, but it also provides these debuffs that are geared towards ground troop defense and HP. But the chances of you being soloed as a much smaller player, in the beginning especially, from a player that is sort of like your size, maybe a little bit bigger, the chances are that they will be attacking you with archers. So if you look at all these pieces, I just click over them, you'll see that the axe has the better spread of buffs. Now we're throwing away mounted troop attack, so instead we're switching it out for siege troop attack. and they both are 30%. All right. Now let's say we look at a T1. Train, we're still on T1. You'll see there of the values that you have that you are able to buff, that being attack, defense, and HP. Well, personally, my HP value there is 2004 after it being buffed. If the value is green, it means it's being buffed. If it's white, it's the base stat. So my power for the T1 troop is 2 points. Speed, it will remain at 600. But if you look at all these values, you'll see that 30% of these tiny values is completely, useless. I mean, it's nothing. Whereas if you have a flat refine, the flat refine will be added to this troop if you're refining for attack, for defense, or HP, and it will be added to that stat itself. So I'll just quickly show you before I jump ahead of the gun here and just make sure I'm not missing any rallies. There we go. Alrighty. Where was I? Generals. Yes, so the refines. So I had touched on the 2 gens that we should try to aim for. And if you don't worry about my gens, don't worry about the gear. It's nothing compared to what we're talking about here right now. This is just a sort of a design that I've worked on specifically for my keep. Now, there's just something that I want to highlight. Let's do this. These 2 pieces, the helmet and the pants, are one of the most important pieces that you want to get for a T1 trap. They are going to buff your HP. Those 2 pieces can only buff in terms of PvP standards. They will only buff HP. Your weapon and your your weapon and the braces or the ring, they will buff attack buffs. They will buff attack. They will buff the attack, yeah. And then the chest and the boots, they will buff defense. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you don't know what a piece buffs, you can click on it, you can say view, you can say refine, and once you refine, you can hit this icon in the top right corner. It's going to tell you, give you a brief description about equipment refining. You can read that if you are interested, but it's also going to show you what refines you can get. Okay, so pay attention to that, please. Once you decide on a piece that you want to get, you can go ahead and refine it. Let me just click on the pants quickly. I think this one should mostly have it. Yeah, so for a T1 mounted trap, you're going to want to have fundamentally flat refines. So you can see there I'm getting between 1000 to 1900 points, hit points. And if I go to my T1 troop, we can see there that, let's hypothetically say, for argument's sake, that my HP base stat is 2004, which is the number right there. Now if we take 30% of that, so 50% would be 1000, 10% would be 2000, 200, 200. So 10% is 200, so 30% would be 246, right? So 600. So 600 points would be 30%. If you're adding 30% buff to this, you're only getting 600 hit points. On top of that, your enemy that's attacking you is going to debuff that 30% down to 15%. More often than not, you're going to be your archer debuff, your archer attack is going to be debuffed. Sorry, what the fuck am I saying? Not archer attack. Your HP is going to be debuffed. Um, so if you're going to be debuffed or fully debuffed, and whatever your buff is, you can only be buffed to a maximum of 50% of whatever your buff is. So if you're being debuffed completely, that 30% will turn to 15%. So instead of 600 units, you're only getting 300 units. Now compare that percentage buff that you were getting to the 1000 to 1900 flat refine, and flat refines do not get debuffed. So that is why flat refines are the best thing to get for T1 traps. Flat refines, just as a rule of thumb, are way better than percentages when you're dealing with low tier troops. Percentages are way better when dealing with high tier troops. And why do I say that? So let's just go over here. Let's look at a T14 unit. So here you can see you're dealing with an HP of 48,000. If I add the maximum, I think it's roughly, let's go with 2,000. I'm only going to add 2,000 to that. If this was hypothetically now a base stat, it's not, because it's green, which means it's already buffed, but I don't want to switch my screens all the time. So I'm just going to use what's in front of me. All right, so 48,000. Add 2,000 to that, I'm going to get a total of 50,000. But if I add 30% to that, okay, so let's say 50 is 10 is 500 times 3 is 1,500. So the 30% is going to add 1,500. The point behind percentages comes into the fact that, let's see if I've got a which gen would have is accumulated. My subgens. Yeah, there we go. 5 stars. So he's getting a. Is this the one? Oh, that's not the right piece. Where was I? Huh. Okay. I missed the piece that I was thinking of right now. Ah, the weapon. The weapon is what I was thinking of. Yeah, there we go. So he's getting a total, once you 5-star the weapon, it goes from 30 to 45. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, so 45% for attack, or depending on the troop type. So it's either siege or cav. Let's go back to the troop type. Oops. And let's have a look at the T14. And you'll see that 45% on 22,651. Let me open my calculator. I'm not sure if you can see that. 461 times 0.45 is going to be 10,000 points. So that's 10,000 extra points that you're getting on your attack. If this was not a base stat, we know it's not because it's green. Nonetheless, I hope that makes my point. So flat refines won't really help a higher tier troop because percentages just get you that much more, even if you get fully debuffed. Okay. Now, let's summarize quickly. For defensive keeps, we want to be a Russian culture. We want to make sure that we have no high tier troops or very low high tier troops. And if we go into details, a lot of players start off with building a ton of calves, which is okay if you just, boss hunting and you can play responsibly and keep your bubble up during SVS, etc. And you have no PvP ideals, then you know what, you do you. Just don't be a liability to your server, please. I'm not advocating this. But if you want to be a defensive keep and you are starting out and you don't have the ability to protect yourself long term in terms of sort of getting hit with without ghosting, if your thumbs are slow and you can't ghost the calves fast enough, then don't train them because they will die. I can guarantee that. What you want to do is keep everything around 100 to 250,000 layers of every troop type. Train about 1.5 to 2 million T13. Yeah, let's restart the game. So we were at troop layers. You want to train 1.5 to 2 million T13 archers as well as ground, and then you want to have your T1 at least, I mean, 100 million. That's not even, some players can solo that. So just to protect yourself, I would say 200 million should be the average, and then from there, for every billion that you have in power, you want 100 million troops until you hit at least 1.5 billion T1. I mean, that's like, those players that are over 10 billion in power. Where was I? Yeah, so that's the layers. And then you want to obviously have the best combination of generals for the T1 trap, and that's going to be Queen Boudica. She's a tavern gen, so you can get multiple copies of her. That's also the reason why she's leading, or is preferred as the main general, because she can be easily fully ascended. And the assistant will be Lino Amosa. So if you just want to check the buffs out, you can head over to the tavern. Let's filter by defense and show you there's Queen Boudica under the European tab. And if you go to Japan and select mounted filter, you'll find Lino Amosa, and you can check his buffs out there, and he'll be buffing you quite nicely for HP. So why that troop layout? Why is that, why is that a thing? This was actually an experiment done by players that came before us. We all learn from others. I can't exactly tell you now who it was who came up with this, but I learned the style of defense from John Wick. He's one of he's quite a well-known YouTuber on this game. Talks a lot of sense. Always is a sucker for knowledge. He's always looking to learn new things, and he's not afraid to sort of share the information that he comes up with. He obviously keeps some tidbits in his back pocket, specifically around all-star seasons and all that, which is understandable. You always want to have a competitive edge over your opponents, but he's always releasing information, even if it's after the fact. So he's someone that I would suggest you follow if you like the numbers, if you like sort of figuring, tinkering with march layouts, building presets, and studying, your defense reports, your attack reports. He's a good guy to follow. So check him out. Just excuse all his colon. He makes a lot of references to his colonoscopies that he does. But yeah, so that's where I found out about it. But essentially, how this works is your T1. Where's the T1s? So if they are large enough and they can survive, and how do troops survive? They need to have a lot of HP. So that's why we go with those flat refines, okay? So they can survive a defensive hit. When they are engaging the enemy, you need something that can kill the enemy. Okay, your T1s aren't going to kill shit. So while they are, they technically do, but to increase efficiency, while they are engaging the enemy, your T13 archers and ground can kill them. So your ground has the highest HP level stat in the game, and they can survive a lot longer. And if you're going to be archered, that's the troop type that you want to defend against archers. Your archers, your T13 archers, are a specific defensive troop type in terms of battle mechanics. They don't engage in a normal sense. Going into battle, sort of how troop types engage with one another. T13s are like a really special type because they play defensively, or are a lot more proactive when playing defensively. Put it that way. And of course, you've got the range sort of advantage over the enemy when they're coming in at you. So if they're attacking you, they will first have to get through all these calves, and we know that archers, if you're going to be soloed with archers, they're going to target these calves first. Archers like to kill calves, but if your calves can get to them in time, the only way they're going to get to them in time is if they can survive the distance. And if the only way they're going to survive is if they have enough hit points, the HP. So while they are engaging, then your T13 levels, where are they? There we are. They will wipe the enemy out, if you have the right build and the right buffs. So we've gone over the culture, we've gone over the troops, we've gone over the generals. Lastly, to close it up, actually not to close it up, there's so much more. Before the generals, there was the tech. You can generally start off as a decent T1 trap from K33. We say K33 because that's when you start unlocking the ability to Mr. Rally. That's when you unlock the ability to craft Achaemenid gear, and there is not a single trap out there that doesn't have the ability to unlock or to craft Achaemenid gear. Achaemenid gear will firstly go onto the wall gen. Generally, I mean, you can use Ares gear as well if you have the ability to upgrade. If you have the ability to upgrade your dragon gear. But more importantly, you want them on your sub-generals. So whatever sub-generals you have, you want to debuff firstly the enemy that's going to attack you with a specific troop type. So in the beginning, everyone gets attacked with archers. So you want to debuff archer attack as much as possible. Why archer attack? Well, the enemy is going to come at you, and if they have a proper if they have a proper archer march, they're going to have a lot of T12s, and based on sort of, that sucks as an example. My stats are already buffed. I seem to be buffing my HP a lot better than I'm buffing my attack, but I'm still going through the process of sort of getting my buff sorted. I focus a lot more on defense, so my HP was a lot more important specifically to me. But generally, when somebody's attacking you, maybe I can open up a report here. Let's just do this barbarian through buff. You'll see there that my archer attack is a lot higher than my HP when I'm attacking. So that's why we debuff attack, because that's what's going to kill you, right? HP is just your ability to survive, and defense, how well can you take or defend without taking damage. So that's why we debuff archer attack in the beginning of the game. When you look at your not duty, that's last, your subgens, you want to have something that's going to debuff in some shape or form, right? So if you look at the main skill, we are debuffing archers here as well as siege. You'll see that all my duty, not duty gens, my subgens, they are debuffing the enemy in some way, shape or form. Now, for players that are starting out, you want to go for tavern gens, especially if you're not coining, and this is the guy to get. He debuffs archer attack by 20% as well as mounted troop HP by 20%. That's just the first book. Another guy you want to get is Arminius. He debuffs ground and mounted troop HP as well as ranged troop and siege machine attack. So there's again archer attack there. Very importantly there as well is the HP that gets debuffed from ground. And then there's another lady, this guy is sort of a long-term player that I'm going to be buffing up, because he does sort of all troop types with regard to HP and defense, as well as attack, and then he has some extra specifically geared towards archers, siege and ground and mounted. So he's a very nice all-around debuffer. Then there's one more lady, or Nero as well. He also does all troop types, so he reduces enemy troops by HP by 15% off the bat. That's 15% per troop type, okay? Not just one specific troop type, which is really nice to have. But if you add them all up, so it's enemy troop HP again by 10%, then another 10%, that's 20. Attack defense, that's 20 plus the first 15, that's 35%. Okay, that's just by getting him to 2 red stars. And then of course everything else that you can get by taking him or fully ascending him. Where's the long lady? The old lady with the long nails. Another general that you'd like to get would be, I think she's Japan. Do they fall under defense? What do they fall under? Subordinate city, I would assume. Yeah. Korean, China. Then it has to be other. There she is. Empress Dowager. What's her name? Empress Dowager Zichi. Zichi, is that how you say it? I don't know. Anyway, enemy troop defense by 15%, so that's all troop types. Enemy ground troop defense by another 15%, that's specifically towards ground. Now, she's not really important if you starting out, because not a lot of players begin the game, with ground troops. But as you start to get to progress beyond being attacked by archers, she is definitely someone you want to get. Then another thing, once you start kitting them out, so let's make sure we don't want to miss out on any rallies. And is it. Once we get them sort of placed, we have them in our subsidies, we want to get them out, and then you generally start off with a set of Achaemenid gear. Let me find someone that only has Achaemenid gear. So like this dude over here, I wonder if I've got a pants for him. Not yet. Let's see if I can do something about that just for the video. Right, before I tend to do anything, I always change the gear to match what I'm doing. So we want to craft a pants that is Achaemenid. So we go into pants. So we can choose this one, which is the fearless. We are going to, when we're crafting, we specifically Achaemenid gear for duty gens, we want to debuff the enemy. We don't care about the troops that are inside the keep. We're not buffing anything really, especially if you're free to play, or if you just starting out, because the troops that are in there are going to be of a low level, firstly, and secondly, they're going to be of a low quantity. So you don't really want to buff them yet, at least. More importantly, you want to debuff the enemy. So the first one, the Fearless Achaemenid armor, provides you with enemy range troop defense and enemy siege machine attack debuffs. The Courageous Achaemenid leg armor will provide you only with enemy mounted troop attack debuff. So if you compare the two, it makes sense to go for the Fearless, right? Can I craft this thing? Quick compose. Let's get some dragon scales in there and start it up and finish. And let's go to that guy. Who was it? I forgot who it was. It wasn't him. It was you. So let's put it on him. Now you'll see that the enemy range troop defense and siege attack, that is what it is. And when we 5-star it, that's what it gets to, minus 35%. So we're debuffing the enemy on the weapon, on the helmet, on the chest armor, on the leg armor, on the boots, and on the ring, specifically targeting archer attack. And when we have a completed set, we get another 15% debuff. Now you would have seen some of my gens would have had, for example, ascended or not ascended, upgraded Achaemenid pieces. This is basically the same thing as the Achaemenid gear with slightly increased buffs because I spent some materials upgrading their levels to the Parthenian class. So all the buffs increases slightly, as well as the set attributes. But that's again, that comes later once you've gotten most of them down. For the guys that are sort of balling in materials, if you've got enough materials, if you have enough gens, and you've got some materials to spare, this is just some tip that you can do. You can sacrifice the enemy troop attack set attribute of minus 15%, which would debuff all troop attacks. And you can break that set, the set, and go for the Ares chest piece. So the Ares, I wonder if I have a basic. Do I have a spare one? Is it this one? No, it's not this one. It's the courage. Is it the courageous one? I'm pretty sure it's the fearless, because the fearless upgrades. Let me just double check. Upgrade chest armor. If you craft the fearless dragon piece, right, this is what it looks like. Sorry about that. And if I upgrade it, yeah, I get an enemy range troop attack debuff, as well as siege machine attack debuff of 20%. That's just the base level, not the 15% that you get for the set attribute. You're getting this at the base level. When you upgrade that piece, this fearless Ares armor, it goes from 20, I think, to 35 as well. So you debuffing at 35%. Archer attack as well as siege attack. And eventually when you upgrade it, is it this one? Yeah, it goes to 42%. No, not this one. This is the Parthenian. This is the Imperial. That's the Imperial one, yeah. So it goes to 34%, sorry, not 35%. Specifically Archer attack and siege attack. So I find that to be quite a nice sort of buff, a debuff that you can capitalize on. So I mean, that's a whole thing. And then we're not even done with the duty gens yet. So once you've completed the gear, which is the most important piece, you can start working on this second specialty, which is called the snipe specialty, which does an all troop attack debuff. You can go all the way up to 10%, minus 10%, and that is generally the same for all duty gens, subordinate city gens. Some of them would have the final attribute if you go into specialty. Let's click on that. Let's go to the final one and check it out. You get another enemy range troop and siege machine attack debuff, range troop and siege machine HP debuff, specifically for Baldwin. If you want to upgrade the final specialty, which is very difficult to do, because now you have to access that, you have to upgrade all three specialties. But of course that will take a very long time. So in the beginning, just focus on the middle one, the second one, and then you get that done. And once you have that done, you're going to want to get as many of the spiritual beasts unlocked, and attach them to the subordinate city gens, specifically to capitalize on this debuff here. So you've got HP for ground troops, you've got mounted HP, you've got archer attack, and then you've got ground attack, you've got ground defense, you've got siege machine defense, and there's more that just got released now recently. This guy is a sort of for your wall gen. And then I still have to unlock Kong as well. So those spirit beasts can all be attached to your favorites, to your subordinate city gen. So you can see that the first 3, 4, 5, and then Sinat there, Knot, however you want to pronounce them, they've got the spirit beasts on my keep. And I'm starting to slowly upgrade their star levels. I'm still, duty gens are or subordinate citizens are a sensitive topic because they tend to change over time and they take a lot of effort to get them leveled up. So once you level one up and you realize, oh, okay, now I don't need him anymore, but you've already spent so much resources in him, it becomes very difficult to let go. So I would take my time with that. The next aspect would be duty generals. That's another marathon of a thing to run. So you'll see that the duty generals themselves, they will offer buffs. If you go to any random fucking building, you'll say duty, and you can assign duty generals to those positions. And once you do, having the duty general in place alone will offer a specific buff for that building. So if the building is dealing with troop training, you can get a training speed and a training capacity buff, which isn't really important in the grand scheme of things. More importantly, what you do want is the buff that they provide. So just as an example, Toyotomi, he's a rally spot officer. His first buff is for March size, so that's pretty nice if you're doing offensive play, but it does provide you with sort of buffs, when you are attacking. More importantly, once you ascend him, he starts providing in-city buffs. All right, so when he's the rally spot officer, only then does he provide in-city troop defense plus 15%, and that's across all troop types, firstly. So 15% times 4, that's going to be 60%, right? Then going further, there's in-city troop defense again plus another 5%, so that's actually 20. HP plus 15. There's a lot of defensive buffs that you can see coming from this one general. If you go further, OLG, just say Mindiok. I guess that one's easier to pronounce. Off the bat, he gives you research speed buffs, which is important, especially as you start increasing the level of your academy and your military academy. But then again, he does start providing in-city buffs again, as you see with in-city ground troop and mounted troop defense, as well as HP, and that goes increases in the reward as you go further down in the red stars. Menshikov is a keep officer, so when he's the keep officer, he gives you some construction buffs, which is nice, but as you ascend him, you'll see there again you get some in-city buffs. Then we have Ban Chao. He's the Archer Tower officer. When he's the Archer Tower officer, he provides you with your in-city range troop attack buffs, as well as his ascensions. So there's a lot of focus on Archer Tower. On Archer buffs. And one thing that you'll tend to notice is archers and siege troops, they always get paired together, generally. 99% of the time, at least. It's an observation that I've made. So you'll see that in these duty officers, wherever you have an archer buff, even on offensive generals, archers and siege generally get buffed together. Cavs and ground generally get buffed together. Skanderberg, I think, is hospital. Yeah, so it gives you the hospital capacity buff. And then again, a bunch of in-city troop buffs again. The guy that I have on my barracks is Abdi Al-Rahman. So he's going to obviously buff ground. And as you go further down, you'll see that there will be ground and mounted. As I mentioned, they do get paired together. And then John, so he's on the archer barrack, and he is going to buff some archer stats. And then as you go further down, he starts buffing siege as well. Oleg, he's on my cav on the stables, so he does a lot of in-city troop buffs for cavs. And as you go further down the ascension, you'll see some ground being buffed as well. Guan Ryu, he's on my siege, on my workshop, so he buffs my siege. And as you go down the ascension, you'll see he starts buffing archers. Askia, I forgot about this dude. So he's on the he should be on the trap the trap thing. Why is he not on my trap factory? So I've been missing out here. Okay, so once he's on there, what have I been missing out on? She was. That's unfortunate. Anyway, so he provides some insert debuffs as well. And all of these dudes are tavern generals. Every single one of them. I think John and Banchao Abdel Rahman might be available in relics. I'm not sure. But for damn sure they are available in the tavern. So spam that if you want to ascend them, over time. Whew. Okay, so that was duty gens. Some rallies that I've been missing. Fuck. Chup. Okay. That's all. Okay. So duty gens. What have we done? We've done culture, we've done troop layout, we've done wall gens, we've done sub gens, we've done their gear, we've done duty gens, we've done the academy. Eventually, obviously, you'll get to military academy. Those go hand in hand. Yeah, I think that covers it. If you want to have a look at some reports, let's go to battlefield. Is there anything in those? Were nothing of spectacular importance. Let's look at some defenses. There we go. Let's start from the top here. Defenses 1. Is that not on my keep? Nope. That's not on my keep. I was reinforcing these players. It's also a nice way to get buffs. To get points. It's reinforcing other players. Okay. Defense. There we go. So he attacked me. I was ranged. What did he attack me with? Ground. Very nice combo in terms of generals. We can compare our buffs. His ground buffs were relatively better than mine across the board there. And if we look at my debuff, so his attack was 1,000, let's say 1,400. My debuff is only 464, so I can't fully debuff him, but I decrease it quite significantly. More importantly, for ground, we want to debuff HP, which his is at roughly 1,500, and I'm fully debuffing that. So I'm weakening his ground survivability, which is important. Let's have a look at his March setup. Jesus. Never mind. This is such a poor example. What the fuck are you doing, dude? He sent 2 layers of siege that did nothing. That's no wonder I lost like 84,000 power. Jesus. I'm not going to even entertain that report. Defense, Big L. That's another rain that I did. Master Blast. There we go. This one looks better. Again, grounding me. Generally, players that see a player like myself realize my build, realize my style, and based on how players like myself will play, because I have so many cabs, I need to ghost them to protect them against archer solos or rallies. And Master Blaster is aware of that, so he sent in a ground march because my calves would likely be out of my keep. Let's look at the buffs. His buffs are way better than mine, almost double, just about. Debuffing his HP close to 50%. Close. I mean, that is getting there slowly. Almost there. Attack, obviously, I'm not there yet. Defense, not even close, right? So HP is the more important thing for me to debuff there. Let's look at the defense. I was reined in there by 2 players. They sent me ground, their reins. But if you look at like how they are faring, so Mama Bear, dude, come on. Now I need to find the damn report again. Let's see first if I'm missing any rallies. Okay. Battlefield. It wasn't the Mumbles guy. Right? Yeah, that was the pathetic one. Big L. No, that was that one. Yeah, I think it was this one. True buff. Yeah, so there we go. Mama Bear was raining me with T15 ground. Was this the ground march? Sven is a ground gen. Sucha is a ground gen. Ground rain doesn't look. It's a dusty ground march. I think at this point he didn't have much ground to rain me with. So there's a lot of lower troops, as you can see there, because once you click on a preset and the march is not available or it's broken, it's going to fill in automatically with lower levels that are available of the same troop type. Sinbi sent me a ground march as well. Lots of T14, they're all dead. That's the crap thing about ground. T14, 4x4, so that's good. T14 troops are very precarious. It's like a fine line between, surviving and not. They either survive and annihilate the enemy, or they are completely wiped out. So, that's unfortunate there. The guy that went in sent in a 10.4 million Lujun with a 500,000 Pyrus. Primarily T14, close to just over 2.1 million T14 ground, about 2 million T13s, about 1.2 something T12. So he's quite stacked. Only 500 layers. I don't agree with that over there. 1,000 should be the minimum in my opinion. Prove me wrong. Right, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 subgens, so he's got 2 more than me. Check his debuffs. He's debuffing my archer attack by minus 1300, so 600. Yeah, he's debuffing me. He's debuffing my ground fully. He's debuffing my archer HP fully. My cav HP is debuffing fully. My siege HP is almost completely debuffing it. More importantly, he's debuffing my siege attack fully. So he's basically fully debuffing me, right? My reigns helped me a lot, obviously. Let's see how my troops fared. So we start off at the top. We can see that my ground again there as well did not do well. And then if we go down, we can see that my T14 archers, 733,000 of them only killed 169,000 enemy ground troops or enemy troops. So you can follow that ratios going down. We can see my T13 grounds, they did not fare well. My archers, they killed T13s killed 308,000. Siege just barely made a significant impact there. As we go down, we can see that the numbers are, okay. Let's see, where are my T1s? Did they even engage? Yeah, they took out 2.1 million. Yeah, so here you can see the T1 did most of the damage. 2.12 million troops dead of his what's his march size, 4.5, so that's about 50% of his march size, and the rest got killed off by the other layers. So yeah, that's just an what was that, ground. Let's look for an archer. There's a fully ascended 43 level 43 9.9 million archer general. Sadly no sub cities, but if you look at his buff, 1500, I mean, geez, you're gonna solo a 2 billion player with 1500 archer attack. That's on you, bird. I'm fully debuffing him. He's not fully debuffing me because he has no subs. So I don't know if I should go into this report. Firstly, let's look at the power exchange there. Yeah, no, that's not gonna be worth it. Archers with subs, so that's better. So there he killed off quite a bit of my troops. He won that power exchange. If you look at the reason why, I did not have calves ghosted here, so that's unfortunate. But outside of the calves, if we ignore that little tidbit, so that's the problem. If you don't ghost calves, you're going to have a tough time. My T1 calves, they did a good job. That's quite nice. Again, I was reinforced here by C8. That sent me layers with calves, and they survived. Quite nice. But Mama Bear did the right thing, sent me ground. Again, unfortunately, broken levels because she's sending the ground rallies going off and solos, so a lot of the ground troops that's in a keep are not sufficient for a high level rally. Rain. Nonetheless, my layers were enough to defend. Let's see if there's actually in SVS. Let's go down to saved. I'm gonna have to go down quite a bit here now. So SVS was so Mikasa must blade. No. Was that it? I'm looking for a rally on my keep. There was a rally. Oh, that's a solo with no rain, so that's quite nice. That's also battlefield. Let's try PvP. So they rallied me here, but I was rained over there. So that's the one. The first one came. Was it this one? Yeah. So the first siege rallied me, and then the archer rallied me. Okay. So let's see how the siege went. So I lost 224. They lost a total of 339. Say 340. So I won the power exchange, and let's see what they sent. Attack a 2-man rally, a mixed rally for some reason. Wait. Let's see. Okay, so it was a T11 rally. Yeah, obviously a poor rally there. Mixing it and then only sending 2 players, so obviously that's not going to go out into their favor. What did my layers do? So for a T1 trap, you're going to be looking for T1 troops. Firstly, my T14 did okay there because they're not dealing with any ground. But let's look at T13. Archers didn't do anything because what happened was ground. They are in front. They're taking the brunt of the force. They did quite well. And then calves, because they move quickly, they've got a high speed, they get out there as well, and they did, yeah, only 117,000. So the damage came somewhere else. Let's see. D3s, D4s. Where's the damage coming? So there we go, T11s. Because the one dude sent T11s at me, and I've got way more T11s than what he sent at me. So they're going to kill off a lot of his, and the buffs aren't in his favor because I've got some debuffs on my side and he does not. And then also the fact that he's only sending one T11 march, the other one is an archer march, so there's nothing that's going to go in their favor. So that's just a poor decision on their part. Then they sent off an archer rally. I hope they sent better players this time. Three players. One of my teammates realized I was being attacked and he came in to assist. Bascan, very nice. And let's see his setup here. He's got some nice layers going on. 2500 layers itself, and then bulking up the ground top 3 layers. So he's got his T14 ground in there, his T13 ground, and his T12 ground. His T11s are a heavier form of layer. T10s are then going in at basic levels, going down there, and the enemy sent in, let's see here, a 9.5 million Mihai, Jesus, an ungeared, can I call it that, an ungeared Himiko, and Louis sent a 9.1 million Mihai, so at least two decent archer marchers and one guy that doesn't know what he's doing. All right, so there I lost 97. Let's call it 100. 107. Let's call it an easy 110. What did I lose? 2, 4, 490, 430, about 430 million. That's a decent power exchange. How did I do? Firstly, what is Pascan doing? He's killing off 1 million, 1.5, 1.9, say 2 million troops there. He's killing off 2 million troops. What did they send? They sent a total of 3.8 plus 3.3, so that is going to be 7.1 million troops. So what's happening to the rest of it? My ground obviously is going to kill off the archers fundamentally, but also my siege. So they did not account for my siege because the first fucking rally failed, and they just sent off a second rally without realizing that the first rally failed. An enemy with siege is an enemy you don't want to attack unless you have siege yourself. So you can see my siege taking out all of their archers basically. Let's go down to the T1 because the mid tiers don't do anything really. Yeah, I mean, that's just beautiful right there. You'll see that my troops don't get wounded because I fill up my hospital before the time. I had the soul to play, source of life to play long term, and that's why they die. But I can revive them immediately. And they did fairly well. They took off close to, if you round up, that's really rounding up if I want to, 500,000 troops. Not bad for tanking a rally. So yeah, that's it. That's sort of what you want to do if you wanna build your keep up. You want to go through all those facets, and I mean that's not even that's just sort of basic those systems. So the system of your academy, your build, your duty gens, your sub gens, the gear, the wall gens. That's where you start. Then you start refining the dragon once you get your wings, depending on the server you're on. Some servers will say, you know, you need to get your wings, you need to finish positive, and then you can get the ability to be king. Once you're king twice, you unlock this guy, the dragon. His name is Thebes, and you'll refine him accordingly. I would say mounted HP, obviously, if you're a T1 trap. And then you want to have these guys here as well. Where would that be? Wait, over here. Serve treasure. Long term. This guy. So level 3 Globus Cruciger. You have insert debuffs over there, attack, defense, and HP with an enemy siege machine. Attack debuff. There's some more buffs going right across here. This is both sides of the wall, so attacking and defending. That's for gathering, attacking as well, so that's offensive. That's offensive with debuffs. This is again offensive on monsters and a debuff, and this is complete debuff, so which is nice. So that's of treasure. Then you want to have your art hall. So you want to go through your general hall, and you can hunt a tavern for most of them. What the fuck's going on here? I have all these gens. Wait. I think there's something wrong here. I unlocked this entire thing. Why is this? I have him, I've had them. Bro, I just had a copy of this dude. What's going on in General Hall 2? I fucking had this chick. I just had her. Just hold on. Hold on. What? I mean, so they're saying I didn't have Simeon, right? He was grayed out. If I go into my fragments, that was the very first fucking archer gen that I had. So he'll be. Let's go. Tuck. Oh, those are all the free gens. Then it's the tavern gens, and then it's the premium dudes. There is 90. Come on. I fucking dismantled him. He should. Okay, well, time to write a ticket, I guess. What else is here? Got fragments of most of these dudes. Okay, well, that means this should still be. Okay, at least I. No. Okay, I'm just gonna screenshot that so that they can see. That's a glitch. In any event, you want to get all these generals. Most of them are available in the tavern, except Sajar. Who else? Let's go through them one at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think he's in the back, but you get most of them with the normal general tokens. Other than that, so far from what I can see, they are all available in the tavern. Jesus, I got them all already, and yeah, they are all grayed out. This happened when I think re-downloaded the game using the Huawei App Store. So the game is available in various platforms. I recently used Aptoid, and now the partnership has ended and switched over to Huawei, and actually never noticed that. But once you fill in these generals, you go through General Hall 1, General Hall 2, and then General Hall 3. This is unbelievable. I mean, this lady, who did not start with a... Come on. Anyway, once you get them, Under treasure, you'll see that you can unlock buffs if you have the art hall, the corresponding art hall unlocked. If you don't, then that will say activation requirement. It will tell you what you need to activate. Aurora of Empress requires Queen Jindiok. It requires Wu, Empress Wu. It requires Victoria, and Sajar. Once you do that, if you click on it, it will show you what it provides you: archer attack, defense, and HP. This is not offense or defense; it's both. So both sides of the wall, if you are defending and attacking. And then once you get it, or once it's unlocked, it gets to level 1, and then you can click the upgrade button, and it will show you, where you're currently at and what you will obtain once you level it up, and what you need right at the bottom over there. So all these treasure items with these scroll items as well that you need. So I'm currently about 200 away. Actually, I haven't opened that in a while. Let's see, that will be my art. My inventory sucks. Art. There we go. There's art. So I've got 1,000. I don't think I'll get close to that amount. Yeah, just like 70. So I need about another 130. And then I'll get it. So that's where you get another bunch of buffs. And then, of course, the infamous blazon. So you're gonna go focus. So for offense, that's where you're gonna start off, and for defense, you're gonna wanna do your blazons. But yeah, I'm not gonna get into this right now. It's another can of worms. I'm not sure if I've covered everything. This was kind of this video was off the fly, based off of my Alliance chat. Well, the chat has gone on for an hour and a half, so I'm not going to scroll all the way up. It was unplanned. I hope it's covered at least the fundamentals of it all. Obviously, I could have missed anything. If so, please let me know. The members can message in, obviously send me the mails. Take it to 3. 2 is fine. They can send me a mail, whisper, or send it into our Discord channel, and we can get, I'll try to get back to you as promptly as possible until the next question appears. Cheers.